You were taught to be liked, to smile, to please, to soften your words so others may accept you. But tell me, what has this earned you? Weakness, betrayal, disrespect. I, Niccolò Machiavelli, learned long ago, it is better to be feared than to be liked, and far wiser to be respected than to be loved. Stay with me until the end of this message, and I'll show you how to unlock the dark power hidden within respect, the kind of power no man can fake and no enemy can destroy. You spend your life trying to be liked. Every word you speak, every smile you offer, every silence you break, it's all measured by one question: will they approve of me? But approval is a poison that dulls the sharpness of your mind. It keeps you soft, agreeable, harmless. And what happens to those who are harmless in a world built on power? They are used, ignored, forgotten. You think being liked will bring peace. You think it will open doors, build bridges, win hearts. But the truth is brutal. Being liked makes you disposable. People like you for as long as you serve their comfort, their convenience, their ego. The moment you stop pleasing them, they turn, they gossip, they withdraw, they remind you that their affection was never real. It was conditional, and you built your identity on that illusion. I've seen men rise in courts, in palaces, in politics, not because they were liked, but because they were respected. A man who seeks to be liked becomes a servant to everyone. A man who seeks respect becomes a master of himself. The one who is liked is enslaved by the opinions of others. The one who is respected commands silence when he enters a room. You must understand this. People do not truly like you for who you are. They like you for how you make them feel. If you make them feel important, they'll praise you. If you make them feel small, they'll despise you. Their affection is a mirror reflecting only their own vanity. But respect is different. Respect is rooted in fear, in admiration, in recognition of strength. People may not like you, but they will need you, and when they need you, they will never dare to cross you. To be liked, you must constantly give. To be respected, you must be willing to withhold. Those who always give are soon taken for granted, and those who withhold strategically become rare, valuable, untouchable. When everyone expects you to bend, you must stand firm. When they expect warmth, give them calmness instead. When they expect you to explain, give them silence. It is in silence that power grows. Think of how many times you've betrayed yourself just to be liked, agreeing when you disagreed, smiling when you wanted to walk away, pretending you didn't see the insult just to avoid confrontation. You told yourself it was peace, but it was surrender. And each time you surrendered, a piece of your self-respect died. You became a character in other people's stories, rather than the author of your own. Machiavelli would tell you, the crowd admires those who are above their approval. They are drawn to confidence that needs no applause. The man who does not care to be liked becomes magnetic. His indifference makes people chase his attention, not because they love him, but because they sense something rare: independence. He has freed himself from the invisible leash that keeps most people small. You must kill the part of you that craves validation. That part was trained since childhood, taught to obey, to seek permission, to avoid offense. But this world does not reward politeness. It rewards strategy. You can be kind, yes, but kindness without strength is weakness. You can be humble, but humility without confidence is submission. People test your boundaries, not because they hate you, but because they must know where you stand. And if you have no boundaries, they will never see you as their equal. The man who wants to be liked waits for others to tell him his worth. The man who seeks respect declares it through action. Every decision he makes, every step he takes, tells the world, I know who I am, and I will not beg for your acceptance. He does not argue for his value. He proves it. He does not try to fit in. He forces others to adjust to his presence. You must learn the art of being unbothered, not as arrogance, but as discipline. You cannot control how people feel about you, but you can control how much their feelings matter. Every time you lower your standards to be liked, you betray your future self, the one who could have been powerful, respected, unstoppable. The world doesn't admire those who are available to everyone. It admires those who make themselves scarce, those who walk away when disrespected, those who can lose approval and remain unmoved. And so, the addiction to being liked must die if you wish to rise, because it is not love that secures loyalty. It is fear, strength, and respect. Love fades with convenience, but respect endures through time. The great rulers, the thinkers, the conquerors. They were not loved by all, but they were respected by all who mattered. When you are respected, people think twice before betraying you. When you are merely liked, they smile while they stab you. Respect demands strength. It requires boundaries, strategy, and a calm indifference to popularity. You will be misunderstood. Yes, you will be called cold, arrogant, even cruel. But remember this, they call you cruel only because your strength reminds them of their weakness. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Because while they waste time chasing affection, you will build power. And when the moment comes, they will look to you for guidance, for stability, for leadership. Because deep down, everyone desires someone they can respect, not someone they can like. And so, to rise above the fragile need for approval is to step into the realm of the few, the men who are not ruled by the opinions of others, but by their own conviction. That is where power begins, and from that moment forward, the world no longer dictates your worth. You do, and it is in this truth, this shift from seeking affection to commanding respect, that you begin to awaken the dark power within you, the same power that makes kings, leaders, and conquerors, the same power that burns quietly behind the eyes of those who know their value even in silence. And it is from this inner fire that the seed of true respect begins to grow. Respect. It is not given, it is taken. It is not begged for, it is commanded. And it is never born in softness. It is forged in the shadow of strength and, yes, a touch of fear. You see, people admire kindness, but they obey strength. They may compliment the gentle man, but they follow the man who stands firm when others tremble, the one who can stay silent under pressure, who can say no without explanation, who can choose his peace over popularity. That man earns respect. Most people confuse being respected with being nice, but niceness without power is nothing more than weakness. Wearing a mask, people may praise you, they may smile to your face, but inside, they know they can cross you without consequence. And when a man is known to have no consequences, he is no longer respected. You cannot be respected by those who do not fear losing you. In the world I knew, the courts of Florence, filled with flattery, deceit, and hidden daggers, respect was not found in words, it was found in presence. The ruler who spoke softly yet carried the aura of certainty was feared, even in silence. Men would lower their eyes not because he shouted, but because they felt his power. True respect grows not from aggression, but from controlled strength, the kind that never needs to prove itself. Ask yourself, what kind of presence do you bring? Do people listen when you speak, or do they wait to interrupt you? Do they ask for your time, or do they assume you'll give it freely? Respect begins in the small details, the subtle boundaries you enforce without apology. When you teach people how to treat you, you shape their perception of your worth. And perception, my friend, is power. Those who seek to be liked give everything easily, their time, their energy, their forgiveness. But those who command respect move with purpose. They give selectively. Their yes means something, because it is not given lightly. Their silence holds weight, because it is rare. The world cannot respect what it sees too often and too easily. You must learn to be both accessible and untouchable, a paradox that breeds curiosity and caution at once. Respect is born when people realize you have limits, that you are kind, but not weak. Giving, but not naive. Calm, but not passive. When your strength is quiet, it makes others unsure of where they stand. That uncertainty is not cruelty, it is authority. Machiavelli taught that it is safer to be feared than loved, not because fear is cruel, but because fear ensures order. People may love you one day and betray you the next. But fear, when blended with respect, anchors loyalty deeper than affection ever could. You must understand the difference between intimidation and authority. Intimidation is loud and temporary. It fades as soon as your voice stops echoing. Authority, however, is silent and enduring. It lives in the way you hold your gaze, the way you speak with restraint, the way you stand when others bend. Authority is born from discipline, not dominance. When people witness that discipline, your ability to control yourself, they begin to respect you instinctively, because they know you can control the world around you. Even the wolves of power respect boundaries. The predator respects another predator who knows his territory, who defends it without hesitation. If you constantly forgive disrespect, you tell the world you are prey. But when you correct it once, with calm certainty, The world learns your limits. Boundaries protect your respect like walls protect a kingdom. Without them, your reputation crumbles. People do not respect what they can predict. Predictability breeds contempt. When you always react the same, when you always say yes, when you always explain your choices, they stop seeing you as a leader. They see you as a servant to their expectations. The man who earns respect does not reveal every thought, every plan, every emotion. His restraint becomes a mystery, and mystery, when combined with confidence, becomes an influence. If you want respect, do not chase it. Become the type of person who doesn't need it, and it will follow you naturally. Respect is attracted to those who need nothing from others, those who could walk away and still remain complete. The world bows to independence. It envies the man who does not crave approval because he represents what they secretly wish they could be, free. You will notice something powerful when you begin to demand respect instead of affection. People will test you. They will push, provoke, and question your change. They will call you cold, distant, arrogant, but beneath their words lies discomfort, not truth. They are not angry that you changed. They are angry that they can no longer control you. Their confusion is proof that your power is awakening. Remember, to be respected is to be both understood and misunderstood. Those who are weak will misread your strength as cruelty, your calm as indifference, your confidence as pride. Let them. Their opinion is the tax you pay for walking above the crowd. The moment you stop needing their approval, you start commanding their attention. Respect requires that you become immovable in a world that thrives on reaction. When someone insults you and you remain unshaken, they feel it. When others try to manipulate you and you respond with silence, they begin to realize they cannot reach you. That distance creates an aura, the aura of power. And that is what respect truly is. Power made visible through restraint. The world remembers not those who were liked, but those who were unyielding. The ones who led with principle, not emotion. The ones who could walk through chaos and remain composed. That is how legends are made. Not through smiles and flattery, but through quiet strength, consistency and presence. And as your strength begins to grow, as people start to feel the weight of your boundaries and the calm certainty of your will, something remarkable happens. They begin to see you differently. They speak differently around you. They measure their words. They hesitate before lying. They lower their voice when they disagree, not because you asked for it, but because your very energy demands it. That is the invisible currency of respect. It makes others discipline themselves in your presence. They recognize your strength, not through fear of punishment, but through fear of losing your favor. And that fear is the root of loyalty, influence, and control. And once you begin to shape how others perceive you, once your reputation itself becomes a weapon, you will discover the next law of power, the art of commanding without ever needing to explain. Power is not only in what you do, it's in how the world perceives what you do. And perception, my friend, is not something you leave to chance. It is something you shape. The man who controls perception controls the crowd. The one who does not becomes its prisoner. Most people make the mistake of explaining themselves, thinking that understanding will bring respect. But understanding does not bring respect. Mystery does. Every time you explain yourself, you hand people a weapon. Your motives, your reasoning, your fears. They use your words to measure your limits. They learn how to predict you, how to control you, how to play you against yourself. A man who seeks to be respected must learn the ancient art of silence. Speak rarely, and when you do, let your words carry weight. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In the same way, the wise man speaks only when silence has already delivered half the message. When you speak too much, you expose your thinking. When you explain your intentions, you remove the sense of uncertainty that creates influence. People should never fully know your next move. They should only feel its possibility. This feeling of uncertainty gives birth to curiosity, and curiosity, when mixed with fear, transforms into respect. The moment they think they fully understand you, they stop respecting you. Look at the great strategists, rulers, and thinkers throughout history. They understood the power of reputation. Reputation is your invisible armor. It protects you even when you're absent. A strong reputation makes people think twice before testing you. They hesitate. They question themselves because they believe you know more, hold more, and can do more than you show. This illusion, carefully crafted, gives you authority without effort. And yet, most people destroy their reputation with their own mouths. They talk too much. They justify their decisions. They defend themselves against every accusation. But those who have true power know that silence can never be misquoted. When you refuse to explain yourself, people are forced to interpret your silence, and they always imagine something greater than the truth. Your mystery becomes your weapon. You must learn to act with quiet boldness. Do not announce your plans, execute them. Do not argue your value, demonstrate it. The world listens less to what you say and more to what you do consistently. The man who moves in silence radiates confidence because he shows he doesn't need to be understood. People respect that. They fear missing out on your approval because they cannot predict you. They try to stay in your favor because they never know when they might need you. When you stop explaining yourself, something fascinating happens. People begin to explain you. They create stories about your silence. They project their own fears, their own insecurities. Your absence becomes louder than their presence. Your composure becomes their discomfort. They start to chase your attention, your opinion, your reaction, not realizing you've already won the game. Power lies in making others wonder what you're thinking while you quietly control the outcome. This is the art of commanding without words. The less you give away, the more valuable your voice becomes. The more you say, the less people listen. Each word must be deliberate, each gesture intentional. Even your silence must look planned. The people who master this are not cold. They are strategic. They understand that emotion, when exposed carelessly, becomes a weakness. And yet this doesn't mean you must be distant or unfeeling. It means your emotions must serve you, not control you. To be respected, your reactions must be chosen, never triggered. When someone insults you, do not defend yourself. Observe. When they provoke you, do not explain. Smile. Nothing disarms an enemy more than a man they cannot provoke. They will mistake your restraint for superiority, and in that, you quietly rise above them. Machiavelli knew that perception was the foundation of influence. If people see you as calm under fire, they believe you have power. If they see you detached from flattery, they assume you are complete within yourself. If they see you walking away from arguments, they will think you are beyond their reach. You must appear in control, even when chaos surrounds you, because perception is reality for those who cannot see deeper, and most people never do. The danger lies in revealing too much of your inner world. Never show the chaos within you. Let your face remain calm while your mind strategizes. Let your presence remain steady even when you're uncertain. People respect what they cannot read. They may love what is open, but they respect what is contained. When they cannot predict your reactions, they start behaving differently around you. They lower their tone. They watch their words. They start to mirror your calmness. That is the unspoken dominance of composure. It commands obedience without demand. Control perception by mastering the small details. Your tone, your posture, your timing. All these create invisible impressions that build power. Never rush to respond even when you are right. Let time do part of your work. Delay is a tool. When you pause before answering, people sense you are calculating. They believe you're choosing words carefully, even if you're simply letting them expose themselves. The one who speaks first often loses power. The one who listens longer always gains it. To rule your reputation is to rule how others feel in your presence. When they feel uncertain, they watch you. When they watch you, they learn from you. When they learn from you, you control them. But control does not mean dominance through fear alone. It means leadership through perception. You must not only act powerful, you must appear inevitable. And so you begin to see that power is not loud. It is invisible, subtle, psychological. The art is to make others believe what you want them to believe without ever having to say it directly. You shape reality by controlling how others perceive your confidence, your silence, your strength. And when you master this control, when your reputation speaks louder than your words, something profound begins to happen. You no longer need to chase validation or explain your intentions. You no longer need to prove yourself. People will do that for you, through whispers, through stories, through admiration mixed with caution. And as your image grows, so does the distance between being liked and being respected. That distance, that silence, becomes your throne. And from that throne of perception, you will begin to see the true cost of power, the loneliness of command, the weight of independence, the solitude that every respected man must learn to embrace. To be respected, you must first walk alone. There is no other path. Respect cannot grow in the noise of the crowd, in the warmth of constant approval, or in the comfort of belonging. It is born in solitude, in that silent space where you are forced to face yourself, stripped of validation, stripped of applause, stripped of everything that once made you feel secure. Only then do you begin to see who you truly are. The journey from being liked to being respected is not about becoming colder, it is about becoming clearer. The crowd will never respect clarity because it terrifies them. It exposes their confusion. When you begin to walk alone, you break the illusion that you need to belong to survive, and that alone is an act of rebellion. You start to see the chains that everyone else wears, invisible chains of approval, of fear, of dependence. They cling to each other, not out of loyalty, but out of weakness. You must learn to walk away from that. The man who seeks respect must be willing to endure the cold silence that follows self-liberation. You will notice people pulling away. Friends will call you distant. Family may say you've changed. They will miss the version of you that always agreed, that always said yes, that never challenged them. But you are not meant to be the same. Growth always offends those who choose to remain small. The more you evolve, the fewer people will understand you, and that misunderstanding is the price of command. When you stop needing to be liked, you become unpredictable. You stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop explaining, and this confuses people. They cannot read you anymore. And so they begin to respect you. That respect often starts as discomfort. It feels like distance, like intimidation. But underneath that discomfort lies something powerful: recognition. They recognize in you what they wish they had: control, composure, independence. Solitude teaches you things that no social approval ever can. In solitude, you learn patience. You learn to act without needing an audience. You learn to make decisions not for praise but for principle. Every hour spent alone sharpens your instincts and your awareness. You begin to see through flattery. You recognize manipulation. You start valuing truth more than comfort and integrity more than applause. People who live surrounded by noise never develop this strength. They depend on others to think for them, to feel for them, to validate them. They are forever trapped in cycles of pleasing and performing. But the man who embraces solitude develops his own compass. He no longer asks, "What will they think?" He asks, "What is right?" That simple change in question separates leaders from followers, masters from servants. And yes, there will be loneliness in this path. True respect often isolates before it elevates. You will feel misunderstood, even by those you love. But that isolation is not punishment, it is refinement. Solitude burns away the parts of you that were built on weakness. It silences the noise of distraction and forces you to listen to your own power. And when you emerge from that silence, you carry something unshakable, a presence that no one can ignore in every era. Those who command the highest respect are those who stand apart. The philosopher who refuses to repeat the lies of the age. The leader who stands firm when others fall silent. The warrior who chooses discipline over pleasure. Each of them knew that to walk alone is to walk with truth, and truth, no matter how dark, always commands reverence. The world respects those who can say no and mean it, those who can walk away when disrespected, those who can stay calm while others beg for attention. Respect is never loud. It's the quiet tension between your strength and the world's uncertainty. It is the aura that surrounds those who have nothing left to prove. You will start to notice something remarkable. When you no longer chase being liked, people begin to chase you. Not because you flatter them, but because your self-control becomes magnetic. Your silence becomes intriguing. Your discipline becomes enviable. You become the mirror they fear to look into because it reflects their own lack of mastery. That is why respect often comes with envy, because it reveals the difference between those who live by truth and those who live by comfort. Every great mind, every strategist, thinker, or ruler walked through the valley of isolation before the world listened. Machiavelli himself knew the sting of exile, the loneliness of being dismissed by those too blind to see his genius. But even in that silence, his mind was alive, sharper than ever, crafting ideas that outlived every critic. Respect does not bloom in comfort, it grows in the soil of rejection. You must stop begging for understanding, stop trying to convince others of your worth. Let them misunderstand you. Let them question your choices. Your purpose is not to be understood. Your purpose is to build something greater than their opinions. Respect will come when the results of your solitude speak louder than the noise of their doubt. The higher you rise, the lonelier it becomes, not because people hate you, but because fewer people can match your vision. The summit is always empty, but from there you can see the world clearly. You understand the game, the illusions of charm, the politics of power, the fragile egos behind every smile. You no longer need to compete for attention. Because you are the attention, your stillness becomes louder than their noise. And it's in that stillness, in that space between solitude and strength, that you begin to feel something deeper than approval. Peace. The kind of peace that only comes when you no longer depend on anyone to recognize your worth. That is when respect becomes natural. You don't demand it, you don't chase it, it simply happens. It radiates from your presence. Respect, unlike affection, cannot be faked or forced. It must be earned through discipline, through clarity, through solitude. And once you possess it, you will never crave to be liked again. For what is being liked compared to being respected? What is comfort compared to command? And so, as you stand in your solitude, strong, calm, untouchable, you begin to understand the final truth. The world may not love you, but it will never forget you, because respect endures where love fades, and the man who earns it becomes eternal in memory, feared in absence and revered in silence. You are never meant to be liked, you are meant to be respected. The world will tempt you with comfort, with praise, with easy affection, but none of these last. Love fades with time, admiration shifts with convenience, but respect endures beyond presence, beyond words, beyond death itself. It is the invisible crown worn by those who have mastered themselves. To be respected is to walk alone, to remain calm in chaos, to act with precision when others react with emotion. It is to stop explaining, to stop begging, to stop apologizing for your strength, because the world does not reward those who try to please it. It rewards those who command it. Every ruler, every thinker, every legend who rose above the crowd did so not because they were adored, but because they were feared, understood, and respected. They knew that true influence begins when you no longer need validation. They built power from discipline, not desire. They learned to let misunderstanding sharpen them and solitude refine them. And now, the same truth stands before you. Stop chasing to be liked and start building the kind of power that cannot be questioned, the kind of presence that needs no defense. Let your silence speak. Let your strength define you. Let your discipline draw the line that others dare not cross. Because when you stop needing to be liked, you become free, free from manipulation, free from weakness, free from the chains of expectation. And in that freedom, you awaken the dark power that all great men once knew, the power of respect. So walk forward, not to be accepted, but to be remembered. Speak little, act decisively, and remain unshaken. The world may not always love you, but it will never forget you.